Hello again. Back on here to put another little video out today, realizing that you see all these people on YouTube that put these videos out, and maybe even the ones you don't like. You think they ramble on too long, they don't get to the point, they show too much more than they need to in the process, and you just want to click to the part that shows you what you need to do. And yeah, those guys are still, guys and gals, they still are doing it pretty good, as it turns out, at least for me. This is way out of my comfort zone. Pretty hard to not say a lot of ums and pauses and ramble on about stuff that probably nobody wants to hear. So as I try to get involved in doing this, showing what I do, maybe help some people out. Yes, the help that I have doesn't help me much, but you know, there's a lot of it around here. So yeah, just trying to get my story for people that are interested and what I do, and then ultimately get into how to do some things. I kind of have a jack of all trades, master of none type person. I can pretty much fix anything and keep it running if it's not computerized, and that's how well, hello, and there's my help. Apparently I wasn't giving enough. So but yeah, pretty much anything that I have is it's not digital. It's stuff I can work on. Hang on a second here. We might need to put the help down. Come on, get back on the pile of lumber. There we go. Yeah, that's how it goes around here sometimes. I mean, yeah. Colgate. Now this is what I get for trying to learn how to do this. I guess maybe it'll be comedic entertainment at least. So today, yes, I was working here and resawing timbers, resawing Doug fir. Actually, is cutting pretty good. A lot of times, if you're resawing harder dry wood, this mill is set up as a sawmill to cut. Get my hand out of the way to cut fresh lumber. So it tends to cut a little slower on the dry harder wood, and the knots can tend to be more of an issue. But I've got things cutting pretty good today. I did break a cable. I had a cable broke, and so I had to make a new holder for it. I welded a 3/8 nut onto a 5/16 carriage bolt that I cut the head off, and then crimped on my cable, and was able to get back up and running with just some parts from the hardware store. So that was worked out good to be able to do that. I'm gonna get farther away where she can't maybe jump and land on me this time. Don't know if I'll put my blade guides back, or my blade guides, my cable covers back on right there, because as you can see, I'm not much on having covers on things. They tend to get destroyed while I'm using stuff, and blades break. Pretty much every saw blade that you have is going to break, unless you happen to catch a stress crack in it when you're sharpening it or inspecting it. It's going to pop on you, and when it does, they tend to go through the blade guards on this one, which are made out of plastic, and just shreds them. So I don't want to spend the money from the company to put those back on. It's just me out here. I do all this myself, so safety's not too much of an issue. Yes, I could put my hand back in it as I'm pushing the mill back, but I'm very well aware of that. And nobody's out here helping me when I do this, so just not a high priority for me. Whether it should be, I'm sure people will tell me you should be all safe and everything, but I've had my accidents. Not on this mill, thankfully, but I do know that kind of thing can happen, and you probably can't be too careful. I learned the hard way on my hand here. So table saw got me. That's a story maybe for another day. I could do a whole little video on that. So kind of changed my way of thinking on some things there. So when you get involved in something like that, it won't just maybe take a finger off. It might suck you in. So that's something to be very well aware of. So yeah, I will hopefully get into, be able to do this and put out videos that people can stand to watch and stand to listen to. Maybe get some better camera sometime where I'm not maybe so wobbly, although it does have a stabilize feature on the edit I just saw. So I'm going to try to do that. So maybe when I'm holding it and doing this, mostly so I can stay away from the cat, that I can edit out some of that stuff. So yeah, I'm running a Norwood sawmill. I have a 2000, I believe it is, JCB compact telehandler. Probably the best piece of equipment that I've ever bought when you're doing a sawmill, especially when you're stacking pallets of lumber, when you're having to able to reach over things. Like for instance, here when I saw my lumber, I stack it. Usually I sticker it. If it's green wood, it gets stickered normally. So usually I sticker it right there, off the mill, sticker it. And then if it's not a humongous log and I want to put more onto the pallet, I can now reach over with a telehandler. I had a skid loader prior, which was a good piece of equipment, but I had that prior, and I'd have to move the pallet, set it down, bring a log in, put it on, bring the pallet back. So this thing just has saved me so much time. Um, and the amount of money that ends up being when you can not have to move stuff, and you can just lift over it and reach over it. That's just been an incredible time saver. And anybody that has a sawmill that is drying lumber, stacking lumber up in a shed, needing to get stuff out for customers or move things around, it's the ability to reach out and over is just, it's a whole game changer. So it really was. I also, if I can walk over here, get through all my stuff. I run a Lucas mill as well. I just got this back. I think I ordered it during COVID, so it took forever to get here. But I don't have a building on this one yet, which I don't like. But it's pretty easy to just throw a sheet of steel over it. But this is my slabbing mill, so I can cut big logs that I can then at least break them down. This one here is probably 40 inches across at the base. An ash tree that died from the emerald ash borer, and I'll cut this one up probably into just dimension, 4/4, 6/4, 8/4 lumber. But I'll put it on here first. That way I can cut the slabs down and make it where there's not so hard on me on my back when I'm on the other mill. That's the best thing for this. And this one's pretty easy. As a Lucas mill, if you've never been around them before, I can tear this thing down in 15 minutes and probably half an hour, have it loaded on a trailer, take it out to a site, set it up in another half an hour, and over the top of a log and be sawing. So then you don't have to move logs if logs are too big to lift. You still have to move the slabs. It definitely still takes some kind of equipment or a different kind of cable pulley system for loading the slabs on a trailer, because oftentimes the slabs that I cut out of these logs probably weigh 1,000 pounds. So to try to be able to move those, you can use pipe. That works pretty good, but it's pretty hard to roll them uphill. They come off pretty easy, but they don't want to go back up. So yeah, this is, it's been a good mill to have. It runs a chainsaw bar, so it cuts a really big kerf. I don't generally cut anything on this thinner than 8/4, because you just, for every log or every board that you cut, you lose almost a 1/2 inch in sawdust. So if you're cutting 1-inch boards, for every 4 boards, you'd lose a board completely. So I don't like to waste that much lumber if I can help it. Get it broke down and put it on a bandsaw mill, which it cuts a lot faster. This isn't bad. It's average on a log like this. If everything's cutting good, I'm probably cutting 5 minutes per pass. 5 to 8 minutes to make a pass on it if it's cutting good. I don't like to push it too hard. This one, you can. It'll just bog the motor down. And I think there's definitely a limit. It's not like you can cut faster by pushing harder. So as long as it's sharp, it does a nice job. So it actually cuts as smooth as a bandsaw mill, which really surprised me with a chainsaw chain. I didn't think that we would get that kind of cut out of it when I got it. I thought that it would be a lot rougher, but as long as the teeth are sharpened properly, you have a pretty flat angle on them. I think they come 10 degree, and if you stay around that tooth angle on them, then it cuts really smooth. It's really a good cutting and very accurate. So that's how I break stuff down. So get it on the other mill if I'm going to do that. Otherwise, cut big slabs for single slab tables, countertops, benches, things like that. So if I can end up with something that's in that 40-inch plus range, those are good for tabletops. So I try to get all those kind of logs I can get around here, especially right now with the emerald ash borers in this area, and the trees are mostly dead unless they've been treated. There's a lot of ash to be had for a very brief period of time. Anyway, that's it for today out here. I think I'm gonna call it a night on this. I don't have lights in the shed yet. I have power, but I've never put lights in. So one of those many things around here that needs to be finished. So it gets a little hard to see the lumber scale in there this time of year when it starts getting dark early. So we will talk to you next time about who knows what.